Hello, my name is Habiba Washington, and today I'm here to put on record the truth behind all of the lies brought up in the case against Malachi York. I'm going to start off by saying that I'm not being forced, threatened, coerced, or pressured to do this tape. I am also going to state that, as you can tell, I'm not under any kind of influence, alcohol or drug. Why I want to come out with the truth now? It's really, really important for me to come out with the truth now, because I don't sleep at night knowing that two people are spending their lives in jail as I speak because of statements that a bunch of ex-disgruntled members came out with. The whole trial against Malachi was it was on personal anger reasons. We all had our own issues, why we were angry with him. And Jacob told us that we can come up with a story. We could eventually file for a class action lawsuit. We can all sue him for millions of dollars and get money from it. We can even go to making movies. We can even go to making books and stuff like that. So everybody fed off of that idea. Like I was saying, I feel totally guilty for bringing this case against Malachi. I don't feel that it's right that he is in jail right now, because all of us were angry and we all got together and agreed to this case, and we went ahead with it, and now he's facing life in jail for it. It's not right. It's not fair for anybody to be prosecuted because of somebody else's personal reasons. I don't think that he should be incarcerated because of that. If we all did have issues against him, then that's human nature. But nobody should be sent to jail because of a bunch of lies. And what was said on that stand were a bunch of lies.
Now I want to get to the very special guests that I have. I have Kafri, I also have Nisa, and I have Karen with me. And, ladies, first of all, how are you ladies doing this evening?
Doing well, sir. How are you?
I'm just blessed to be here, just like we all are. Now, first of all, I just want my listeners to get a little bit familiar. If you haven't heard about this case, then this is something that you need to hear about, and you need to spread the word, because this is very serious. Explain to me a little, Kafri, please explain a little bit about the wu-nuwaupu Nation.
Okay, I would like to start with a book that Dr. York wrote. Okay, first and foremost, I want to say I'm a student. I am not a follower.
Okay.
I read his books, and he's a teacher. The book I'm going to read from is called The Holy Tabernacle Family Guide, and basically it's a book about ways of living as a family. And just want to read a little snippet here. It says, we must realize that such words as helping each other, charity, compassion, caring, humanitarianism, and aid to the needy is what we all need to practice. And that words like racism, militant, and terrorism are catchwords designed to divide human beings in order to transfer people's hard-earned substance to organizations and fanatical leaderships by appealing to people's shortcomings or lack of substance. It is not very hard to get a man who has been deprived of a good education because his family needed his assistance in the work field to blame that on another group of people who may not have suffered the same fate. And it goes on, just to give you a look into the mind of Dr. York.
How many books has the doctor written?
Over 500.
That's amazing.
Over 500.
That's amazing within itself.
Absolutely.
That is very amazing. And I'm sure he's writing one as we speak.
He's always right. He's always right. I mean, really. I also wanted to give people, now that that's just a touch, we're trying to cover everything in an hour. It's impossible.
Right.
But to give people an idea of really why all of this came about. I'm just going to read a little bit from the book called The Holy Tablets.
Okay.
It says here, primary creation was performed by 9 ether beings, simply Etherians, whose science is wu-nuwaupu. It's a mental science of how the brain works. It's a science of sound right reasoning that you have to have experience and evidence. So just because someone wants to tell me that someone is a racist, I would have to actually talk to that person and get evidence to prove that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So this doctrine, this teaching is definitely based on find out the facts and work from there. So that is what wu-nuwaupu is. 9 ether beings represent birth, conception. 9 ether is conscious and conscience gases. The Melanites, the original woolly-haired, dark-skinned Moors, came along with the original creation that is the same kind of ether force that grew the universe. The original Melanites, dark-skinned, woolly-haired Moors personify both sound and electric energy, both positive and negative, which is electromagnetic energy. From modern Latin, electric, meaning resembling amber, amber being negative, magnetic from Latin, magnetis, lodestone being positive, light or the Illuminati being electric, and the light spectrum being magnetism. For all those who have an insight into quantum physics, that's what this is. This book is talking about quantum physics, the human being, and what our potential is. Based on, of course, he can only teach about his own people. So that is what it's talking about. But also, everyone is made up of electromagnetic energy. He also gets into ancient cultures, ancient Egypt, the Sumerians. And he's taking us way back, and we're looking at all of the things that was written on the wall because we have pictures of him going over there. He was born in the Sudan.
Right.
So he's telling us that, okay, I know you all have been misplaced, but look, there is a way to find out who and what you are. It's written on the walls that these are the beings that you are. These are the people that you are. So look at this, get into the science of your chemistry, your chemical makeup, and learn how to bring that power forth. Just like you could put an atom into a centrifuge, right, and create and split the atom. You have the power to use your mind because certain brain centers light up. You have that power to bring out things that are like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Things that we have forgotten.
Things that we have forgotten, but he's like, you all are Malcolm X's. You all can be Dr. Martin Luther King's.
Right.
You just have given your power to someone else. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what he was teaching.
That's his ultimate. That's the foundation for his teaching. Then.
Exactly.
Okay. Can I give a quote from the doctor? And this is off of the website. If you're out there listening, you're listening to Live Music Radio, and we're discussing the case on Dr. Malachi Z. York. You can go to his website, heisinnocent.com, and this is a quote from him. I know I'm loved by many here, but I want you to know that I'm also hated by many. I'm hated because they don't understand what the truth is. They would rather live in illusions. They live in a world of theology. They don't want factology, which is facts beyond any doubt. And, Confucius, you just gave some very good examples of facts that, scientists throughout history have proven. And, I just want you to read some more because you're a student, so I really want you to express yourself.
Okay, this is how the events of creation and pre-creation were recorded. When life existed in and beyond the stars, the all is, was, and will be, felt within a divine love that is unknown or felt by those disagreeable beings, and thus emotions were. At the first birth of emotions was the birth of motion, energy, and motion, emotions. Things gradually began to move about. And it was then that movement and motion was conceived out of triple darkness, for the light birthed the chaos. Thus, the motion to create did exist, Thus, the motion to create did manifest in existence and all that exists within the all. I would like to explain that, if I can.
Oh, please.
The best way I can speak about it for people who may be into the Kabbalistic faith, there are different, and also quantum physics folks will know what I'm talking about. For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. And within that, everything that you see is energy. Whether it be whatever waves you want to come from, thought waves, microwaves, whatever waves you want to deal with, all of that exists in the all. And we are made up of those things. So you have all, and then you have the all. Everything you see is the all, and then it exists in all. Meaning, okay, this is one of the teachings. When you think, those vibrations get sent out. That's how this book got created. That's how the structure of this microphone got created. It started off in here in triple darkness. It was conceived here. So then you bring it towards the outside. This is what he's saying. If you get into quantum physics and learn about, again, I'm going back to the brain. If you go back into quantum physics and you learn, or even just simple things about, like, I have B blood. Some person might have O blood. We're not the same species. We're not the same being, and we do not vibrate the same. That's why some people can be into different activities, like you have gymnasts, then you have someone who's just strictly a scientist, then you have someone who have to do manual labor. They just like, I just can't go there, and it's really dealing with their blood type. It's dealing with, not, that's just the way to say blood type, but it's dealing
the whole genetic makeup.
Exactly.
DNA.
Exactly. And he's explaining that what you see and what they're saying is just quantum physics is really the way we would say it in ancient Egypt would be kolum, which would be all. Okay. And everything you see is existent in the all.
Okay. That is very deep right there. You're listening to Live Music Radio. That was Godfrey, a student of the Nuwaubian Nation. And we also have some other special guests in here. Now, from what book are you reading?
The Holy Tablets.
The Holy Tablets. And if you're interested in any of his publications, you can go to his website, heisinnocent.com. And you can get on there and get some more information. Check out some of the books, order some of the books online. Now, I also have some other special guests in here with me. I have Nisa Shabazz from the Black Panther Party. Hello, Nisa, once again.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Just blessed to be here. Explain to the people the movement.
Okay, it's the new Black Panther Party. I'm the chairwoman for the Atlanta chapter. And it was actually started in Texas back in the early 80s, along with Dr. David Foreman and Aaron Michaels, who started the organization. And after Dr. Khalid made his transition, Minister Malik Zulu Shabazz, who is an attorney, stepped up and, took over the organization. And we have 42 chapters throughout the U.S., and we have, I believe, 60 over in Africa. And what we're doing in the Atlanta area is putting together food programs. We're going to go, take food to our elders who need food. Okay. We're going to be doing clothing drives. We want to do black health fairs. And we also want to support our black community. Right. And, we are definitely a strong supporter of Dr. York, because I actually had the chance to study under him when I first left down south and went to New York. Okay. And Dr. York opened up the doors for me to learn who Minister Farrakhan was, who the Honorable Elijah was, who Malcolm X was. Right. So we will always, show love and support for Dr. York. And so that's why we here in Atlanta must create programs to bring our people together so that we can support each other and, build a grassroots movement.
Do you have any current community events?
Yes.
Coming up?
Yes, we do. June 10th, we're actually doing a tribute to Dr. York at the Apex Museum at 135 Auburn Avenue. And that's in Atlanta, Georgia. And it's next to the Auburn Research Library. And it starts at 7 p.m.
That's going to be June 10th, correct?
Yes, sir.
Is there a contact number for anybody if they want more information?
Yes, sir. They can contact 678-480-6555. And that is my cell number where you can reach me.
Serious inquiries only.
Yes, sir.
Nisa does not play.
No, sir. Don't call me with foolishness.
Exactly. Please don't call her with no foolishness. We also have with us Karen Jai. Hello, Karen.
It's good to see you. Greetings.
Oh, we're just blessed to be here. Now explain to the people exactly who you are and what you represent.
Well, my name is Karen Jai Muhammad.
Okay.
I am here on behalf of our Southern Regional Representative, Minister Abdul Sharif Muhammad, and he represents the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Okay.
And of course, he represents the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And essentially, we're here because Sister Khafre asked us to come and show the support that is real.
Okay.
Amongst us, that is oftentimes not touted in the public and in the community. And as Sister Nisa stated, we want to make it clear that we are in support of our brother. He is our brother. We are his sisters. And make it clear that we must come together. Really do not have an option not to do that. To be disunited at this time is really just not an option.
Right.
And so that's the purpose of me being here today. And I don't know if anyone would need a further explanation as to what the Nation of Islam represents.
Right.
But if that's the case, then...
Oh, please explain it, sir. If you're out there listening, this is Life Music Radio, and you're about to get a quick lesson.
The Nation of Islam in America, let me give you the definition of Islam, which is basically a Muslim. And the definition of Muslim is one who submits themselves to do the will of God. So that means that respect of any prophet that has come and given us teachings to be a better person, be a better wife, be a better father, be a better mother, take care of your community, have a conscience, respect those who respect you. All those are universal type values. And so it's a principle that we all can share and build upon. And so we have the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan standing strong in this country to represent that ideal, that ideology, without fear, without being bought, and it's comforting to me as a woman in particular to have someone to stand strong who can speak, be the voice for me, for my mom, for my husband, for my children, who is not afraid to say to whomever whatever needs to be said. And so I'm here, just a small little voice, little person, trying to keep that ideology alive and be in support of our sisters and our brother, who Minister Farrakhan has plainly stated when he came here in Atlanta and spoke at the Civic Center, that he was in support of our brother and that our brother is innocent.
Okay. And if you want to come and visit, you can come and visit my Southern Regional First Family, Mosque number 15. That's 3642 Campbellton Road, Atlanta, Georgia.
3462, right?
It's 3642.
Okay, that's right.
36, that's why I didn't want to mess it up. Once again, Mosque number 15, 3642 Campbellton Road, Atlanta, Georgia. The phone number over there is 404-344-9399. And just be there around Sunday, around 10 a.m. You might get a chance to see Karen. She'll be there, I'm sure.
Absolutely, I'll be there. And then, more importantly, our regional minister will be there. And then we have a second service as well.
What time is your second service?
The second service is at 2.
At 2.
So we've got a 10 a.m. service and then a 2 p.m. service, just in case you want to visit your church home. And then come on over and worship with us at 2.
Okay.
And feel free to invite us to come to church with you. You know what I mean?
I never heard anybody say that.
Absolutely.
And you also go, I'm sure you could go there. Do you have a bookstore there?
Yes, we do have a
books,
bookstore.
DVDs, CDs, and more.
Yes, Respect for Life bookstore is there. We sell a variety of books, but in particular, if you're interested in getting the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and tapes and DVDs of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, you can get those books there.
Okay. And, you know, one point that I want to make before we go any further is that what you're hearing and what I'm seeing a lot of the black leaders, a lot of the community organizations come together in support for a common cause. Usually don't see that. Usually see a lot of separation within our community. What do you ladies think can actually help bring people into the circle and start giving support amongst each other a little bit more? Do you have any suggestions or?
First, I would say I would have to speak for myself. Get a complete understanding or overstanding of everyone's religion, of everyone's culture, and learn to respect it. Know that it's a circle and we are all connected.
That's right.
Every prophet, every leader, every apostle, everyone sent from Jesus to Muhammad to Honorable Elijah Muhammad to Dr. Martin Luther King. He came with a vision. Marcus Garvey, he came with a vision that no one had to unite us. Some people say that Marcus Garvey didn't have a clear vision. He had spies. He had agents that would work. Exactly. So we know how to come together as a people. That's a misconception. We get things done. We are great inventors right up now to this day.
Oh, yeah.
The problem is when you allow confusion to step in and you allow someone else to tell you about your people's potential. So I would say, as the Dr. York says, a well-rounded education could cure most of the world's problems. So if you know a little bit about every country, you'll realize there's nothing to be so afraid of.
Right.
So that is what I would say.
Anybody else want to add anything to that?
I would add is just by being on your radio show shows you the unity that we have in the black community, and hopefully that will open up people, you know, from being so set in their own ways, being, you know, in this box, and not be afraid to step out of your box and come and see what, you know, other organizations are about. You know, because a lot of people have negative images even of the New Black Panther Party.
Right.
But we are trying to turn that negativity into positivity to show that we're about being a servant for our people.
Right.
You know, not, you know, displaying negativity, because when they see us, right away you think of guns. That's not what it's about. It's about the people.
Right.
It's about the people.
I'm glad you mentioned that about the New Black Panther Party too. But we're going to get back to you in a few minutes.
The only thing I would add is, you know, simply like the words of Jesus, which is to first deny yourself. If you, you know, realize who you are, and even if you don't have a clear picture of who you are, but you feel the inkling, because really each of us has it. It's not completely dead, you know what I mean? But if you're beginning to recognize it and can feel it, you know, deny yourself of all the things that would take you off your deen, take you off your post, take you off the focus of moving yourself, your family, the community forward.
Right.
And then pick up your cross. He said you got to deny yourself, then you pick up your cross. And once you pick up your cross and you realize your mission, your purpose, it's easier. It becomes easier, you know, to move it forward and lock arms with your sister and your brother, find the camaraderie of this thing, and move it forward.
Well, yeah, there's power in unity, and you know, once I found out, you know, that you all were coming up, you know, I had to do some research, and I was on the website. Once again, you can check out the website, heisinnocent.com. I mean, this is a very informative website. Who's ever doing your webmastering is doing a great job, so I commend them. There's some very good information on here. I want to get one more quote from the doctor. Facts insult certain people because it dethrones self-appointed leaders. And if you offend someone's leader, they immediately resort to violence or threats. And, you know, after reading that statement, I can understand now why he's in the position that he's in. Because the things that you were just talking about a few minutes ago, that's the truth.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can't deny the truth.
Fact.
You know, there's certain things that people will deny, but you can't deny the truth.
You can't. Especially when you can prove it.
Right.
And exactly. And I mean, you know, we can look in history, and we can see all of the great black community leaders, the things that they went through.
That's right.
And a lot of them, you know, they gave their life for the cause.
That's right.
And, you know, a lot of people are incarcerated because they spoke the truth. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, it just
goes back to the same COINTELPRO.
Yeah.
That is now incorporated into the Patriot Act. That's how they can spy on us on the phones.
Exactly.
Well, they've been doing that.
For some reason we're finding out about it. I don't know why.
They've been doing it, but I guess they wanted to bring it out in open now and say they have a reason for doing it now.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? As before, you know, it was just hush-hush. They were just doing it. You know, right now they say they have a reason for doing it. And, I mean, that's a serious subject also.
Because it has taken down many of our great, great leaders that could have, if left alone, like Dr. Yo says, he says, they didn't kill Dr. Martin Luther King for what he was doing. He said they're investors. They look in the future. They said he got 1 million people to walk miles. They were looking at, you know, they went on strike for the buses and they just walked.
That's right.
You know, so he said they looked in the future and said what we will be and what he could create.
Okay.
As a leader, or I would go back to Egypt or Sumer and say as our pharaoh or Aferti, a great leader. That's the bottom line. We would have been so far ahead, or even with Black Wall Street. So our people always say, well, why we can't do this and why we do it. You gotta know, we do it. We get up and we unite, but we get stopped.
Right.
That's what happens.
Right.
Somehow, some way.
If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Life Music Radio. I'm DJ Strong. I have some very special guests in here with me. I have another soundbite that I want to play. But before I do that, I'm going to play a little music, and we'll be right back. Keep it locked for more Life Music.
He shouldn't even be given life. He felt that his father needs to just rot in jail. Jacob wanted all of us meaning me, Nicole, Karima. He was talking to a couple of people, different people that left the community. He wanted us to bring a case against his father. Jacob told me that some of the girls and boys that left the community had went to the government about different things that was going on in the community, meaning child molestation. Before I left the community, I was the main person in charge of the finances, as well as in charge of anything that went on with the community, the living, eating, anything, the financial, anything that happened regarding any of the members in the community. I dealt with that, so I was basically in charge. Jacob told me that the FBI knew who I was and that they were told about certain things that I've done in the community, and some of those things I can be incriminated for. Jacob told me that if I don't go to the FBI first, then they would come after me, they would incarcerate me, they would take my children away from me, because there are things that they were told about me that could incriminate me. When Jacob first talked to me about that, I was not interested in bringing out any charges against his father. I didn't see any reason. I didn't believe that anything was going on. I didn't believe that anything was wrong. We wasn't doing any criminal acts. Jacob brought up the fact that I had a son by his father at 17 years old. I told Jacob that my son with his father was never, it never came about because I was forced to have sex with his father. I was 17 years old, and yes, I did agree to having a child with his father at that age. I understood my age, I understood his age. I didn't see anything wrong with it. I consented to it. So I told Jacob that that's the way that I felt. I didn't feel that anything wrong happened, that we both agreed to it. I felt that I was an adult, it was my decision, and I went with it. But Jacob proceeded to say that there were some things that some of the other members, some of the other ex-members I went to the government with, and that I should really, really talk to them and see what's up and see how I can clear my name so that I'm not prosecuted for any of those things. We all went to Florida after that conversation, and during our trip to Florida, we had several conversations in the car with Jacob. It was some other boys that were there, and Jacob started talking about going on the land and taking some of the kids, just kidnapping some of the children off the land. He was talking about my sister. My sister was still there. My younger sister, Isla, was still there. And he wanted us to just go up there and just take her and take some of the other little girls and boys off the land because he didn't feel that they should be living on the land with his father. But we had all agreed that that was not going to happen. You know, none of us was interested in going up on the land and kidnapping anybody. So Jacob said, well, then we can just do it the legal way. He started bringing up different things in the community, like how we grew up, how we lived. He brought up the fact that he was in love with Nicole, and he felt that because Nicole liked his father, that it was a betrayal, and that his father's the one that was responsible for it. Jacob thought that his dad was responsible for his mother's death and his brother's death, and he really, really felt that he needed to take revenge on his father. And he was not able to do it, but we were able to do it because we were there longer, and we were closer to his dad than he was. So Jacob had a conversation with me and Karima and Nicole. Nicole?
Welcome back to Life Music Radio. I am DJ Strong. And what you were just listening to was Habiba Abigail Washington. She states that she was coerced and threatened by the law enforcement officials to testify against Dr. Malachi Z. York. And I wish we could have had her here tonight. That would have been real interesting. But with me, I do have Nisa Shabazz. Hello, Nisa.
How you doing?
There she is.
Yes, sir.
I also have Kafri here. Hello, Kafri.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Also have Karen Jai with us tonight. Hello, Karen.
Good evening.
There she is. Also, I got my man Hamilton in the back somewhere pushing buttons. My man, where you at, Ham?
Yeah, I'm right here, man.
There he is. There he is.
Listening.
And
I'm educated.
we're just getting, like he said, we're getting educated tonight. You never get enough education.
Oh,
you know,
that's right.
If I were you, I would just train your brain. Because now's the time. It's 2006, and we still don't know what day it is. On that note, Kafri, I know you have some more teachings that you want to share with us.
Actually, we have the transcripts from the arraignment and detention hearing that just shows you how much of judicial bias and misconduct there was. Okay, first, before I get into this, the first thing I want to bring up is, okay, the judicial bias and misconduct. The second thing is the evidence proves that he is innocent. Third is the recantment. All of these different things were ignored by the various judges that we had. And I just want to read from the transcript certain things that did take place. First, the arraignment and detention hearing. He was arrested. Dr. York was arrested on May 8th, 2002. The arraignment was the next day, May 9th. And here is what the judge had to say the next day. I think to a great extent that's what's been presented to me in this courtroom today, and it's not unlike the situation which I imagine existed in courtrooms earlier in previous years with individuals like Jimmy Swaggart, Jim Jones, and Jim Baker. They had quite a few loyal followers. They let their followers down. That may ultimately be what the outcome of this case is. It may not be. That's not for me to say. Right from the top, he's biased. We have pages upon pages, the whole transcript. This is his sentiment towards Dr. York. It also says here that this is a very preliminary matter today that we are dealing with. But I did not want to make that observation But I did want to make that observation, that it appears to me that despite all the literature that I've looked over this afternoon and all that I've heard about the writings of Defendant York, that I believe that sometimes action speaks louder than words. May 8th, he was arrested. May 9th, the detention hearing. What books did he read? Right. That's the question. How did he, as a judge, just getting a case, just like if anyone was arrested, they would read a rap sheet, which Dr. York does not have a rap sheet. Who brought him books? Okay. This is one of the things that was brought up. He was charged with the RICO, which is something that it was created for mob bosses to, take down organized crime. Mm-hmm. And let me see here.
I think they were creating stuff just to. I think they were making stuff up along as they went. I mean.
Okay. The court says here in the transcripts, it's page 28, line 15 through line 22. The court, this is the judge speaking. Now, isn't there going to be significant evidence in the case that he used his religious organization in order to satisfy his sexual desires? And isn't there going to be evidence that there were people in the organization that thought they might somehow be blessed or somehow benefit or profit from or be rewarded? And isn't there evidence in the case that the defendant did reward and did punish his followers if they didn't cooperate with him? Isn't that in this case? Now, our lawyer, Dr. York's lawyer, said, the government has not adequately set forth a violation of federal law in count 6 and count 2 RICO Act 3. The judge responds, do you have any federal cases on this? Any federal cases, Your Honor? Your Honor, I do not think that any federal case would speak to the Georgia law. I think it's relevant that the Georgia Supreme Court spoke to it. So I think that it would be a gap in federal law, basically. What they're talking about is the Mann Act. You can't, the Mann Act is transporting minors across state lines for the purpose of sex. Mm-hmm. Again, I want to say he's innocent, and the evidence proves that he's innocent, so we're not talking about technicalities, but this is how far they will go, and just to prove that for some reason they don't even know the law. In 1993, according to Georgia law, which is what this is talking about, you could actually have a wife that was 14.
Okay.
1995, they changed it to age 16. So somewhere along the lines, they were really trying to get him and the whole organization for RICO, not realizing that at the time these things took place, or that the alleged acts took place, the women now were of age legally in the state of Georgia. Right. So what they were trying to do is put in the Mann Act to say that still, he did this for the purpose of sex, so that means that it was RICO.
Right. Now, in a criminal case, the government must prove each and every element of a charged offense beyond a reasonable doubt.
Okay, now let me get this
Keep that in mind.
Okay, the court. All right, I understand, Mr. Davis. Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Moultrie, let me tell you, this is the prosecution for the government that the judge is talking to. Mr. Moultrie, let me tell you, I'm going to give you the opportunity to do a written response to this. Okay, judicial bias. The lawyer didn't even ask to bring forth a written response. The judge is just like, okay, can you deal with this? I'm going to give you an opportunity to deal with it.
Right.
And the judge says, the lawyer says, Mr. Moultrie says, yes, Your Honor, but the facts don't bear his argument out. And the court, well, I understand that, but I'm saying, my point is, I'm not sure I need to rule on this right now. If I'm clear, if it's in Mr. Moultrie, Your Honor, the court, or I can deny it right now and find out what the evidence is going to be, and we can take it up at that time. Bottom line, Mr. Davis, Dr. York's attorney brought it up. He said it's not a RICO charge because there was no crime in 1993. But the crime, to use the Mann Act, if you're following me, is transporting across state lines. So they were trying to blur the lines just to take down the whole organization to get the land, because the land was the key to the whole. It was supposed to be an amusement park as well as a spiritual center. So it was supposed to be a African village. Okay. We were supposed to open up banks. We were supposed to. I remember being up there during festivals with Blimpies, Pizza Hut, all of these different places. We were going to franchise. They got wind of that. That's when the violations, the zoning violations, and all of this different things started happening with the sheriff of the town.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was a point I want to bring up. Now the village that he was constructing, I remember a few years ago hearing a lot about that. And that was the biggest issue, was the fact that he went out there, he built pyramids, and it was a lot of things going on out in the village as far as black unity and the black community growing independently. And I know a lot of people
we were growing our own food.
A lot of people felt threatened by that. So, I mean, from what you're telling me right now, is that the doctor was on to something big.
Exactly. It started before this molestation charge happened. We couldn't build because the zoning department, for some reason, the Sheriff Howard Richard Sills of the Putnam County, Eatonton, Georgia, somehow he was always involved in every arena of the government where he's just the sheriff. Why is he involved in zoning? You know, why we couldn't get the land zoned to residential? You see, we couldn't get the land, we couldn't get zonings to build new buildings. So that slowed us up. Dr. York was in and out of court from, I know it started in 1993, the racial, honking and spitting and all of that. That started then. But it just kept going up until 1999. This case is built up off of, the sheriff said he received an anonymous letter talking about child molestation. According to Georgia law, once an official of the government receives a letter that says anything even remotely hinting towards child molestation, child abuse, they were supposed to come up there immediately, take all of the children. This did not happen until 2002.
They had to build a case first.
They had to build a case first. They didn't have
say build. I mean, they had to
fabricate. Exactly. Exactly. This is a magazine that one of our sisters did of all of the monuments that were on the land.
The Holy Land of the Nuwaubians.
Don't be trying to take my magazines either.
I was about to ask you if I could have this magazine. Now, if y'all want one of these magazines, I'm sure you can go to the website. Just go to heisinnocent.com, and I mean, there's so much information there, and they have quite a few links to all the other websites that's associated with the doctor and the Nuwaubian nation. They have some very good Nuwaubian news there. I mean, just so many good things about this website. I mean, I've been clicking and clacking for a couple hours now, just browsing through. Some really good articles in there. And I mean, they have a message board. You can go on there, state your opinion about the situation. I mean, there's so many things going on within our communities, and I don't think that it's going to stop here. I think this is the reason why a lot of our community leaders don't actually step up and share their voice and their opinions because of things like this. Do you think that, ladies? Do you think that's true? In this day and age, is that, people see other people like Dr. Malachi York get apprehended. They just snatch you off the streets now. That's what goes on. They just, hey, there he is, and they just snatch you up. And it's kind of sad, because I know we have a lot of great leaders within our community. And I think just a lot of people are scared to step up.
Well, to me, there's a couple of things that come to mind when you say that. One, if you put God first, regardless as to what tricks might be attempted, he will always be the victor. So, you know, you have to have that conviction and make sure that he's a part of the equation in what you do. And if that is the case, then regardless if you go to jail, whatever might be the case, he will be the victor. So, you know, and those that are leaders, whether their names are famous or not, because each of us is a leader,
right,
then, you know, if you put that out in front, then that fear, you know, is removed. And then the second thing is, when you're talking about a community leader, I'm just saying to us, myself included, that we, you know, we've got to, when we begin to give someone that title, you know, really investigate that. Make sure that those individuals really do have your best interest at heart.
Okay.
There may be other motives. I'm not saying there are, there aren't. I said there may be. All I'm saying is find out the facts. And if in fact that person is for you, then they will speak on your behalf freely, without fear. That's just my opinion of it.
Well, like you said, I think we're all leaders. You know, I think we're all going to have that opportunity to express ourselves and, you know, stand up for our fellow man and woman. I really do believe that we all are leaders.
Absolutely.
And that's why I know for a fact that I know people who have great charisma, who are very knowledgeable about quite a few things, and they have that spiritual inspiration, but they just don't step up. And I see you ladies have stepped up. I mean, actually, Nisa, how long have you been in the new Black Panther movement?
Okay, well, I feel that I was born a Panther, but it was up to me to go inside of myself and pull that part of me out. And, you know, once, you know, you start seeing different things in your life and you're taught different things, and when you get grown and you see it's a different way, I have no choice but to step up and be a servant for my people. And I don't fear anything because the Creator is at the beginning of everything that we do.
Right.
And once you get over your fear, you'll be able to move about this country and do what you have to do to organize your people.
That's right. That's right.
I agree. That's why I come up in here and do what I do.
That's right. Go ahead.
If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Life Music Radio. I'm DJ Strong. I want to thank everybody for listening. We got a few more minutes left. Kyle, you had something that you wanted to add?
Yes, this is very quickly.
We're WATB 1420 AM, Decatur, Georgia.
Just this another portion of the transcript that proves judicial bias and misconduct. Again, we're not claiming racism. We're saying that there was judicial bias and misconduct. Just a portion of the transcript, page 173, line 1 through 13. This is the court, the judge speaking. I find that the weight of evidence, primarily the testimony of Special Agent Jaylene Ward, is strong. Then on page 79, 4 through 11, it says, all right, now in connection with the travel for the purpose of having sex with the minor, do you have a witness who says that the purpose in the travel was to have the children have sex? The witness that a witness that says that? Yes. No. You have no witness that says that. Not that says that. No. So the testimony of FBI agent Jaylene Ward was originally, yes, we have all of these people, yes, they're saying that they were molested. But then when she was put on the stand, she said, no, we have no witness that says that. It should have been thrown out right then.
No star witness, no case.
And I also want to bring up, I want to bring up very quickly the point of him being duress, when I'm pretty sure everyone who is familiar with the case saw him plead guilty. They put that on TV. He was writing letters and he was saying that they wasn't feeding him, that he was 58. I know he was 50 something.
Okay.
Now I know he's 60 something. I don't know. But that he was being awakened in the middle of the night multiple times.
Right.
Bright lights in his face.
Right.
You know, I mean, he's an old man. There's only so much you can take of that.
Right.
And this is what he says in the court. Mr. Garland, who was Dr. York's lawyer at the time, it says, secondly, then Mr. York would like to briefly be heard from the court, which is the judge. I will not hear from Mr. York on that point. The court, now I understand that the plea you entered in January was under duress. The defendant, this is Dr. York speaking. Yes, sir. I felt I was under duress. I don't want to go any further because I don't want to add words. The judge, the court. I'll just have to figure out what that means, but the defendant, Dr. York, well, I'm quite sure. The court, my sense is that you didn't want to do it. Or he didn't want to plead guilty, is what the judge is saying. The defendant, Dr. York, I'm quite sure you're much more educated than I am. I'm not sure about that at all. The court, defendant, what duress means. I don't want to go any further than what's the legal jargon. The legal jargon is under duress. Okay. Now, when he pleaded guilty, it's right here, but I'm just going to say it. When he pleaded guilty, he said he was right, and everybody said he wasn't getting his medicine because he has I'm not pronouncing that right. Angioedema. Yes, that's what it is. It's angioedema. He wasn't getting his medicine,
right.
And they were doing that on purpose. You know, that's why he says I was under duress, and so he pleaded guilty to get 15 years and for the other women to be let go, because according to letters he was writing, he said that he was being told that your wife is going through this, the other girls are going through exactly what you're going through, we're not feeding them. So he said fine, he just broke down, he said okay, I'll sign it, I'll go on TV, I'll say I'm guilty. Then when it came back, they said that, and this is based on something else that our lawyers wanted to say, because it was based on the evidence that the government was bringing, that there was no evidence to prove that he molested the children. They were saying he needs to take back his plea, and because there's no merit. But the way the court went about it was to say, okay, you can take back your plea, but and we can go to trial. But know that if you take back your plea, you're probably going to get more time. No, if you take back your plea, you'll go to court, go to trial. But if you don't take back your plea, you're going to get more time than the 15 years that was originally agreed to. And Dr. York says, no, I don't understand that. So he goes into explaining how we're going to give you more time. And that's what the transcripts say.
Either take this plea bargain of 15 years, or we're gonna give you 15 years regardless, but we're gonna add on some extra.
No, they were saying if you.
That's not what they were saying.
No, what they were saying was you can take back your guilty plea, and you can go to trial.
Well, we're gonna add on.
But if you keep your guilty plea, you're not getting out in 15 years. We're going to give you more time if it goes. You see what I'm saying? Because that agreement, the court, he says the court does not see that as fit. So my question is, why give him those papers to sign? Now he's been on TV, he's pleaded that he's guilty, and he's not even going to get the deal that they said. They didn't, even to the point where his wife still went to jail for 2 years, and she's just now getting out in April. They even brought her back in. You see, so it's so much. I
was just reading on the website that he did have an appeal that came up.
Right.
When is the next appeal scheduled?
Right now we are preparing to go to the Supreme Court. That's where we are right now. The appeal should have been turned in it was supposed to be turned in by Saturday.
Oh, okay.
And on top of all of this, he is a diplomat to Liberia. And they knew this. They went into he couldn't prove it because they went into his house and they took his passports. Right. So he had to wait all this long time to be able to say, okay, he's not a citizen of the United States.
Right.
We have I have seen the numbers. He's written numbers because they're coming down because the president has been elected, so the paperwork is flowing a lot smoother.
Right.
Whereas when they was going through their whole presidential election,
that was their excuse.
Right, the Civil War. So we couldn't get the paperwork. He said he wrote many letters, and now we can see the paperwork is coming through, that he said, I gave up United States citizenship, and I am officially a Liberian citizen. He has a house in Liberia. We have a Liberian lawyer, Mr. Galawalu, who brings the different briefs that we need. He's been traveling back and forth, so the officials in Liberia, they know. The Liberian consulate, the folks that deal with it, they know, and it's just a process right now. There is a treaty that's in place that says one treaty is, of course, diplomatic immunity. The other treaty is if the country is requesting for, it's called bilateral immunity agreement. If the country is requesting for that citizen to return home, and the citizen wants to return home, is bilateral. America is supposed to be able to get their citizens to come home and just serve their time there. That's not being respected. You see, so we are in a battle on all fronts. All fronts.
That was real interesting. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Life Music Radio. That was Carfrey, and she just gave us some serious litigation. I hope you're listening. This is, I mean, we have in court right here. But who are we to judge? We're talking about the Reverend Dr. Malachi Z. York and his incarceration and his trial and defense and his prosecution. And, you know, I just want to remind everybody that this could happen to you. And it might, and I'm sure it's happening to someone that you know or is related to. I mean, a lot of people are falsely accused of crimes that they didn't commit. We're harassed. I mean, I can't even begin to explain to you how many times I'm harassed. And y'all see that I'm here.
Right.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, they can't keep all of us down. They can't hold back this movement. And I really think the movement is just the truth. You know, the truth about a lot of things that, you know, in our society, in our nature, in our genetic makeup, in our spirituality. I mean, we all believe that there is a higher being than ourselves.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people, they deny that. And they feel threatened by that.
That's right.
And this is why we have people like Dr. Malachi Z. York, who is incarcerated because of their beliefs and their teachings. We have a few more. I mean, I just don't want to stop the show because there's so much information that we need to put out there. But before I go any further, I just want everybody to put their contact information out and the organizations that they represent one more time for me, because, you know, that is very important. If you're out there listening, you're listening to Life Music Radio, please get something to write with. If you're just tuning in, please get some pen and paper. I have some very special guests with me, and they're going to put out some good information for you.
My name is Kafri. I am with the Nuwaubian Nation of Moors. You can find out about the case if you go to www.officialnaia.org. That will tell you about the fight that we're fighting for his diplomatic status. You can go to He is Innocent. That will tell you about the case. It'll also have the other different links that have the transcripts. So that is www.heisinnocent.com.
Thank you. And for more information about the New Black Panther Party Atlanta chapter, our website is www.nbppatlanta.org, or you can reach 678-480-6555. And also the second weekend in June, which is June 10th, a tribute to Dr. York at the Apex Museum at 135 Auburn Avenue.
Okay, and my name is Karen Jai Muhammad. I attend Muhammad's Mosque number 15. It's the Southern Regional Headquarters for the Nation of Islam, under the leadership and guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And the number at the mosque, should you have any questions for directions or anything, is 404-344-9399. Our website is worldwideweb.noiatlanta.com. And much like the sisters that are sitting here, we've got some family-oriented events that are coming up. One of them being a marriage retreat, which is a weekend full of seminars and intimate topics being covered regarding family and marriage. And even it's those that are single and wish to be married or are concerned about marriage. We're promoting that. And then the other event, and that's June 2nd and 3rd of this year. And then the other event we have coming up, which is pretty major, which is our drill competition. And so anyone who's familiar with the Nation of Islam knows that we've got top soldiers, men, women, and children, who use drill, the form of drill, which is a discipline for us, as a form of entertainment. And so it's wholesome, family-oriented entertainment, and that, too, is happening that same weekend. And if you wish to get information, you can go to the Moz website, and if you wish to purchase a ticket, you can go to theticketlounge.com and purchase a ticket online.
Okay. Before I go any further, I just got one more thing that I want you ladies to do before you leave. We also have a community event that we're going to be sponsoring June the 11th. I believe, isn't that right, Hamilton? June the 11th, second annual Great Community Cookout. The second annual, we did it last year, it was a success. This year it will be 10 times as bigger, I guarantee. It's going to be at Salem Park, right across from Salem Middle School in Lithonia. If you got, any questions, you want to be a sponsor, want to be a vendor, just want directions, you can give me a call, 770-369-6508, and we'll give you some more information on that event. And if you know of any other community events that you want to promote, just give me a call and let me know. If you want to come up here and express yourself and tell us your story, give me a call, 770-369-6508. Now, ladies, we've run out of time. Once again, I just want to thank you all for coming up to Life Music Radio. You always got a home here.
Thank you.
I mean, some very good information you put out. Very, very good information. I mean, we got a lot to learn. We have a lot to pray about. And, we just need to get out in the community and make some things happen for ourselves and keep the unity. Because, I mean, that's, if we don't support ourselves and help each other, who will?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So we really got to get out here and be supportive of all of these organizations that are positive organizations for the youth. Because, I mean, that's what it comes down to. But before you ladies leave, everybody that comes up to Life Music Radio, I always ask them to please, please leave a jewel in my treasure box. And I don't care who goes first.
Okay, I will leave one. What I will say is there are various black organizations out there that you can join, or if you don't want to join, you can support, but join something that's oriented and geared to upliftment of black people.
Thank you, and that was Nisa Shabazz right there, the new Black Panther Party representative. Thank you, Nisa.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And what I would leave is to really embrace the fact that these are trying times, but these are exciting times. It's an opportunity for us, especially as black women, to really display our authority and our ownership of this world and band together as women. We have a strong power and energy between us and within us that God has deposited. And if we just come together and tap into that, be in support of our men, rear our boys, love our boys, rear our girls, love our girls, look at the impact we can make. And that's what I would add.
And that was Karen Jai. Thank you for being here with us tonight, Karen.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
I would say, time old saying, in order to know where you're going, you would have to know where you came from. And just speaking to the Nubian community, because I am Nubian, you just know that you are doctors, lawyers, chemists, scientists, teachers, mothers, fathers, great men, great women. Live that. Each and every one of you listening, you have what some would call a dream. Dr. York and myself will call that a spiritual seed.
Yes.
That is who your ancestors are. Deep inside yourself, a lot of you may love to look up at night at the stars. Your foreparents may have been solar biologists. Some of you may have been biochemists. Look inside yourself to find out who you are and let that come out to help your people.
Absolutely.
That would be the most important thing that I have learned from Dr. York.
Thank you, Godfrey. Really appreciate that. And I have to say, I will have y'all back again, guaranteed. This is not the end. You will hear more from these ladies and other representatives from their organizations. Only here, Life Music Radio. Keep it locked for more life music.